Hey everybody, it's a snowy day up here in New Hampshire, and we are in the 2019 Volvo S90 T6 Momentum, brought to us by First International Auto Group out of Merrimack, New Hampshire. So big thank you to them. Before we get out of the road, this one is paired to a supercharged 4-cylinder making 315 horsepower, 295 pound-feet of torque. We have lots of, infotainment functionality in here, including this pretty nice camera. I'm still getting used to using this system, but as you can see, they kind of threw a lot of infotainment options in this screen, including your climate control, which I'm not too happy about. But on this side, you can obviously connect to your phone, to CarPlay there. You have your radio stations and whatnot over there. To open your climate control functions, you can press that button there, which controls fan speed. On the left and right hand side, you can control your temperatures. Currently I have them synchronized for high. It is a freezing day here. As you can see, it's also snowing, so we're going to do a fairly quick drive. Unfortunately, every time I'm at First International Auto Group, it's snowing out, so it's just kind of been like that recently. But I'm very excited to drive this giant sedan by Volvo. I drove the S80 before they discontinued it and put out this S90. And this S90 is a little bit bigger, dimensions compared here. And yeah, I mean, it just looks absolutely fantastic. As many of you know, I'm a huge fan of large luxury sedans. I used to own a Hyundai Sonata, which, isn't all that in terms of luxury and face value, but it actually was really nice. It had rear heated seats. It of course had a big panoramic sunroof and leatherette seats, so it was pretty nice for a Hyundai product. And so back to this Volvo here, priced at $18,500 at First International. It's a great deal. Of course, you got to think about what you're getting, which in this car, it's heated seats in the front and in the back. Plenty of space for 4 passengers. You can fit a 5th in that middle seat, but they might be a little uncomfortable with how the middle, kind of comes up. We also do have this heated steering wheel, which is currently burning my hands, funny enough. And I mean, this car is just tons of luxury for that type of money. And I misspoke before, this car is not only supercharged, but it is also turbocharged. And, hence why you can get 315 horsepower from a 2-liter 4-cylinder. I would be very curious to see what the long-term reliability of this powertrain is, but it is paired to an 8-speed Geartronic automatic. And, we won't really get to test the performance out on these rough road conditions, but we will be able to see how this all-wheel drive system handles the snow. So we do have an auto start stop function in this car. We have blind spot monitoring, keyless entry, push button start. Well, it's not really a push button, you actually twist it here, but that's all right. And then of course we have this digital gauge cluster, which looks quite nice. I always prefer analog gauges, but when you present a very simple gauge cluster, I don't mind the digital ones. I just don't like when they're kind of like lights everywhere and try to be a lot more futuristic than they have to be. So we have a good sounding powertrain. It sounds refined, and that's really what you're looking for in a sedan for this type of money. You don't want a Turbo 4 that's kind of just like really throaty and annoying. This one is just very quiet, luxurious, with a slight rumble coming from that exhaust in the back. We don't have paddle shifters, which I'm fairly disappointed about, but for drive modes, we have this little scrolly wheel here, which actually you push the button first, and then you have Eco, Comfort, and Dynamic. We'll throw it in Dynamic for now. We're gonna leave traction control on, of course. But what I remember from that S80 is that transmission was very aggressive in the sport mode. Like, it just was like very snappy, held onto gears as long as possible, and really provided a fantastic ride in terms of the powertrain. I was very impressed with that car. I think the one aspect I didn't enjoy was the steering, which they have really seemed to fix with this S90. The steering is just very pleasant, feels linear. You really know where your tires are pointed. Good power, but that transmission is shifting way before redline. We were shifting at about 5,500 RPMs, which this thing's redline is about 6,500 according to that tachometer. So I don't really understand why it does that, especially when I'm full throttle. Kind of interesting, especially considering you can only control the gears yourself from the shift lever here, which I don't really see the point in doing, especially because I like to keep two hands on the steering wheel as much as possible. In terms of steering wheel controls, on the left-hand side, we have all things cruise control. We, of course, have adaptive cruise control in this Volvo S90. And then on the right-hand side, you can control what's showing in that gauge cluster. I'm just gonna leave it alone while I'm driving. So when people think about sedans, they're always like, oh, well, I'd rather get a crossover because I'm gonna have more room for my family, gonna be able to, kind of spread out longer on, gonna be able to spread out more on road trips. But this thing is actually just so spacious. I have plenty of room for my legs. I can sit far back enough with my seat with still giving my rear passenger plenty of room. And I'm just so impressed with the amount of space in this Volvo S90. And as far as trunk space, we have quite a usable trunk too. I will say it's not as raised as I thought it would be. But to be honest with you, I think what's best about this S90 is really just the room for passengers rather than cargo. All right, so I'm gonna throw it back into comfort here and just kind of let things take control. I will say that the ride is not as pleasant as I thought it would be. I think these small road imperfections are really just kind of making this thing bounce, which I'm unhappy about. Comparing it to that S-Class we drove about a year ago now, that was a 2012 car, but that's the W201 S550. That thing was just absolutely fantastic in terms of ride quality. And even the Volvo S80, which I believe that one was a 2015, both of those cars just handled all these road imperfections with ease. I mean, I didn't even feel any of this in those cars. So I'm actually very unhappy with how this thing is handling these small bumps. And I'll be curious to see how it handles the worst road in Merrimack, New Hampshire, which is coming up. Visibility is great. We have these really wide mirrors. Of course, they have blind spot monitoring as well. We have plenty of room out that rear view too. And then of course we have this giant hood in front of us. You kind of have to see over it. So I would imagine parking this S90 will be a little bit more challenging than you're used to, especially if you're coming from a smaller sedan. As far as this interior, I do really like these beige seats, and they're very comfortable. Plenty of electronic adjustments for both me and my front passenger, and the heated function is nice too. I will say it also really matches the dark brown that kind of grazes along the dashboard and the door cards. Just all overall very high quality materials in here. And the cabin is very sound deadened too. It's super quiet in here. You could have conversations at very low volume. Yeah, so this road is really coming through in terms of all the harsh road imperfections. This S90 just can't really, I'm very surprised with how stiff it is. I mean, maybe just the suspension parts have kind of worn out over 85,000 miles. But I just expect this car to handle the road better. And I don't know that for sure. I have no idea because I haven't driven one of these brand new. So I can't really tell you. But I will say, before you buy an S90, definitely drive one. Don't just assume it's going to be very comfortable because it's a large luxury sedan. Drive one, spend as much time in the car as possible before making your purchase decision. And I would definitely compare one of these with an S-Class, and that would be a 2019 S-Class. Of course, if you're comparing this specific One, you're gonna probably get a S-Class that's also very high mileage. So, you know, with that in mind, you could definitely make a decision just based on driving characteristics alone. I will tell you that the S-Class rides a lot better than this. So with all that being said, I am a little disappointed in this car and a bit conflicted with it. I think looks are great, interior and exterior. This thing is just absolutely fantastic. It's gorgeous. It has lots of presence on the road. When you get out of one, you're gonna feel like $1 million. You're gonna feel like a rich guy, right? But I think the S-Class also will do that for you, and it will ride better. I'm very disappointed with how this thing rides. I just think the suspension is stiff as a board. Like I said, I don't know if it's because this one has some, you know, worn out suspension parts over 87,000 miles. But, you know, First always takes good care of their cars, so I'm gonna lean towards, you know, this just not riding as well as an S-Class does. And I had very high expectations for it going in, so I think that is really impacting my thoughts as well. But, you know, this thing still has a very nice and comfortable interior. You get plenty of options such as the heated steering wheel, the heated front and rear seats, the panoramic sunroof, the keyless entry, the push button start, Apple CarPlay. This really does feel like a modern car, even with it being about 7 years old. So thank you all for watching this review of the 2019 Volvo S90 T6 Momentum. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Comment below if you've driven one of these, if you own one of these, and what your thoughts are about it. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.